drug affected clients, what do we do? And do we just kick them out? Hey there, I'm Gemma Lane, and I am a full service, independent sex worker, adult worker, escort in Victoria, Australia. I've been in the industry for 10 years, starting at the ripe old age of 35. So drug affected clients, people who use drugs, substances, many like society stereotypes. Yeah, drug and substance users almost or just as bad as sex workers and the clients of sex workers. Like, sex workers are all meant to be dirty gutter whores. Clients are meant to be fat old ugly men with no, prospects, and drug users, again, dirty gutter druggies. And while there are some people like that exist in the world, there's a huge vast range of people that don't fit those categories. And yeah, addiction's a big thing in this world, and it's crazy that some addictions are more acceptable than others, like smoking or drinking alcohol, even gambling and stuff. It's not great, but it's more accepted than someone who's, say, taking illegal substances, who get a much harsher perspective when it's much more complex. There's a lot of nuances, reasons for people using, and while in theory and while the stigma's out there that it could be dangerous for us to see people that are drug affected, and or the area of consent, can a drug affected person consent to services? And I've noticed some younger workers in particular, especially with the bigger platforms, they're often questioned as to why they have continued to book in with someone that's affected by drugs. And we often don't know, like, there's a lot of high functioning people that use substances, and often you don't know, or you wouldn't know until they turn up, and then they might mention something. I may have done a video on this before, but often when you're answering the door to a client, you're not wearing much. Lingerie, something sexy. If you're at a hotel, motel, even Airbnb, even at home, and you open the door like that, like, you could probably slam the door on their face, but you probably don't know at that stage yet that they're affected by substances. You're kind of inviting them in. And then you may or may not detect that they're affected. And again, we don't know if it's a new client. We don't know how they're going to react if they get pissed off. So they've come in, they've done nothing wrong, but they're on a substance. Go, sorry, you've got to leave, you're on a substance. That could potentially create a conflict, and that's going to then cause more potential harm to us than going along with the booking while they're being respectful and things like that. And then once they're done, they usually go. And honestly, a lot of substance users are my favorite people, clients. There's a lot of good people that use substances, as well as a lot of shitty people that use substances. So if someone turns up and they've used substance and they haven't been respectful to me throughout the booking, or they have seemed too affected that they didn't really know I was there, that kind of thing, then I haven't seen them a second time. It's like, no, I'm not going to see them again. I had this young guy a while ago who reminded me so much of Michael Jackson, a really young, skinny Michael Jackson, just off his head on a meth user. Unfortunately I wouldn't see him a second time because he wasn't quite fully with it. And but then some are fine and lovely and all good. Another guy many years ago, before getting into the industry, I didn't know much substances. I thought party was just like listen to music and stuff. So I was still in this earlier time when one guy went to his house. He had haggled a bit that night, and I had accepted. I won't do that now, but back then I did. And he just wanted me to play with his butt. And I thought, fuck, this is going to be such a boring booking if this is all I'm doing for 2 hours. And then he passed out. I was like, well, I can't continue, can I, when he's passed out? So I, just sat to the side for a little bit just to make sure he was fully passed out, and then I got my stuff together and left. And the next morning he messaged me going, "Oh, you owe me some time." I go, "Oh no, you said I could go, and plus you passed out, you couldn't consent." He paid less. I was fine to leave early. And yeah, I couldn't consent. He's passed out, or he couldn't consent because he's passed out. Yeah, and generally, I guess later at night, or if people are too intoxicated, they usually can't coordinate time and themselves get into the booking, and you can kind of tell a little bit more. You get a bit more, smarter, street smart perhaps over time when you're answering a lot of messages and you learn to connect some messages to sort of pattern recognition, autism, to people that are on substance. Some is very obvious, obviously, their words aren't coming across properly and it doesn't make sense and stuff like that. You're like, yeah, but some people are still quite coherent and can function well. So no, I've just rambled on for 5 minutes. So it's not always easy just to kick someone out. Same if they turn up and they're kind of rude or they've tried to haggle stuff. Sometimes people turn up and they've pushed a lot of my boundaries before they've turned up or in the very early stages, and I get pissed off. And sometimes I can still fake it and, give a decent enough service, but then not want to see them again. Or maybe I will see them if they were safe and I just didn't really enjoy it or didn't overly like them, but they paid and they were safe and that, then yeah, I might see them again. If I really didn't like them, and yeah, I wouldn't, then no, I probably wouldn't see them again. I'd just get through the booking and have them go. It is good to have, I don't know if I've done this video and posted it or not, it's good if you're a worker to pre-plan some ways to get out of these situations, which is like making out that you're not feeling well, or maybe check your phone and you've got to go get your kids or something, something's come up that you've got to go, give them back their money and have them leave without causing an issue. And sometimes these things actually happen, like we need to go pick up kids or something happens and we've got to leave or cancel past last minute. So it's not always because we don't like you or because we think you're druggy or something. Yeah. So there's that episode. Hope you enjoy that. Like, subscribe, follow me for more content.